Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise, give you the essential insights you need. And today, we're doing just that. We're pulling back the curtain on a really specific but incredibly impactful part of the pharma world. We're looking at the market dynamics around a vital antibiotic, clarithromycin. Our mission today, to take a detailed recent analysis from cognitive market research and, well, use it as our guide. We're going to uncover its current state, some surprising growth trends, the big challenges it faces, and the innovations shaping its future. Think of it as your shortcut to understanding this key drug's journey from molecule to global market force.
And it really is quite a journey. For those maybe not familiar, clarithromycin is a macrolide antibiotic. It's used very widely. It works against a whole range of bacterial infections, things like respiratory tract, skin infections, and importantly, Helicobacter pylori, the bacteria linked to ulcers.
Right, H. pylori, okay.
Yeah. It comes from how it works. It stops bacteria from making proteins, essentially stops them growing, spreading. You'll see it around as tablets, oral suspensions, sometimes extended release types. It's really a staple in healthcare for things like chronic bronchitis, sinusitis, pneumonia, that sort of thing.
Okay, that sets the stage nicely. Now let's talk scale.
Yeah.
Because when we look at these market numbers from cognitive market research,
Yeah.
well, clarithromycin isn't just hanging around, is it? It seems to be expanding rapidly.
Oh, but definitely.
In 2024, the global market was estimated at, what, about USD 2.14 billion.
That's right, 242.6 million to be precise.
Right. But the projection, it's set to more than double, over $4.5 billion by 2032.
Yeah, USD 526.5 million. It's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 9.80%. Pretty robust.
Wow, 9.8% CAGR. That's significant. So beyond just the general need for antibiotics, what's really pushing this growth? Are there specific market forces at play?
Well, it's interesting. It's not just sort of organic growth. There are two main engines here. One is, yes, the rising number of bacterial infections globally. That's a baseline factor. But the other, and this is key, is the increasing reliance on effective combination therapies.
Combination therapies, so using it alongside other drugs.
Exactly. Clarithromycin often plays this crucial role, especially for tough infections like H. pylori. Eradicating that often needs a cocktail of drugs, and clarithromycin is frequently non-negotiable in that mix. And, you can see how market needs drive innovation. Just last year, June 2023, a major pharma company launched an advanced extended-release version.
The one designed for better compliance.
Precisely, making it easier for patients to stick to the treatment plan. That's a direct response to a real-world need, improving outcomes.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a big deal for doctors and patients. So with this kind of growth, where's the impact biggest? Geographically speaking? And who are the main players making this happen?
Okay, so right now, North America has the biggest slice of the pie, around 40% in 2024.
40%, wow.
Yeah, mostly because of, advanced healthcare systems, high antibiotic usage rates. Europe's next, with about 30%. That's driven by good antibiotic awareness programs, plus the prevalence of H. pylori over there.
Okay, so North America and Europe are the current heavyweights. But are there other regions really picking up steam? Where's the fastest growth happening?
Absolutely. Keep an eye on Asia Pacific. Right now, it's about 20% of the market, but it's projected to have the fastest growth, around a 7% CAGR. We expect its share to climb to maybe 25% by 2032.
A quarter of the market soon, then. Which countries are leading that charge?
Mostly India and China. It's really down to improving healthcare access and significant investment in local pharmaceutical industries in those countries, making essential medicines more available.
Got it. And on the company side, who are the big names we should know in this space? Is it dominated by a few giants?
It's definitely competitive, but yeah, there are clear leaders. AbbVie Inc. has the biggest share currently, roughly 15% in 2024. Then you've got Abbott Laboratories, around 12%, and Teva Pharmaceutical Industries, close behind at 11%.
AbbVie, Abbott, Teva, okay.
And these guys, they aren't just sitting still. They're investing heavily in R&D, trying to boost efficacy, develop those advanced formulations for better compliance we talked about. We also see a lot of strategic moves, collaborations, mergers, acquisitions. They're all trying to expand their portfolios and global reach, consolidate their positions,
Makes sense in a growing market. So clarithromycin is Clearly a major force. But how does it stack up against, say, other macrolides? Does it have a specific edge? You mentioned H. pylori.
It definitely does. Within that macrolide family, it's the dominant player. In 2024, it had about 45% of the macrolide market. Compare that to azithromycin at 35% and erythromycin down at 20%.
45%. So why the preference? What makes it stand out?
It often boils down to two things: superior pharmacokinetics and, as you said, better activity against Helicobacter pylori.
Okay, pharmacokinetics.
Yeah.
Can you break that down a bit? What does that mean in practical terms for how the drug works in the body?
Sure. Simply put, pharmacokinetics is just how the body handles a drug. How well it gets absorbed, where it goes, how it's broken down, and how it leaves the system. For clarithromycin, superior means it gets absorbed well, it reaches the right concentration quickly where it's needed, like the stomach lining for H. pylori, and it stays there long enough to work effectively. Basically, the body can use it more efficiently.
Ah, I see. Better delivery and action.
Exactly. And that efficiency is why its market share is actually expected to inch up slightly, maybe to 47% by 2025, driven by its role in those H. pylori combination therapies and also for treating chronic respiratory infections.
That's a really clear picture of its strengths. But, no drug has a completely smooth ride. Even with strong growth, there must be obstacles. What are the shadows here? What challenges are impacting clarithromycin?
Oh, absolutely. The biggest shadow, without a doubt, is antibiotic resistance. It's a huge problem.
The bacteria evolving to fight back.
Precisely. And it's not just a future worry. It's undermining the drug's effectiveness now against certain strains. For example, some recent studies, they show resistance rates to clarithromycin in H. pylori infections are over 20% in parts of Asia.
20%. Wow. That means for 1 in 5 people in those areas, it might not work effectively.
Exactly. That's a significant clinical hurdle. It means longer illnesses, higher healthcare costs, and doctors having to find alternatives. It really highlights why we need innovation.
That's sobering. Beyond resistance, what else? Any other practical issues?
Yes, definitely. Side effects are another factor. Things like GI issues, stomach upset, diarrhea can be a problem for some patients, and drug interactions are a real concern,
Yeah.
particularly for older patients who might be on several different medications. It gets complex.
Like a medical jigsaw puzzle for the doctors.
Kind of, yeah. And all this can affect whether patients actually stick to the full treatment course, which is critical for antibiotics. Then there's regulatory pressure. Governments, health organizations, they're rightly trying to curb antibiotic overuse to slow down resistance. This can impact availability, encourage alternatives. And finally, don't forget costs. Advanced manufacturing, R&D, it all costs money. That can be a barrier, especially in developing countries.
Okay, so resistance, side effects, interactions, regulatory hurdles, cost, quite a few headwinds. How does a drug like clarithromycin navigate all that? What's the future looking like? Are there innovations on the horizon?
There certainly are. The future really seems to be about smarter drug development and delivery. We're seeing continued R&D into next-gen formulations. For instance, things like nanoparticle-based delivery systems.
Nanoparticles. Okay, that sounds very high-tech. How would that actually work? Could it help with, say, side effects or even resistance?
That's exactly the idea. Imagine tiny particles designed to carry the drug directly to the infected cells or tissues, bypassing healthy parts of the body. This could mean less systemic exposure, so fewer side effects like that stomach upset we mentioned.
So more targeted, less collateral damage.
Precisely. It could allow for higher, more effective drug concentrations right where they're needed most. That could be a game changer for patient tolerance and potentially even help overcome some resistance mechanisms by hitting the bacteria harder at the source.
That sounds incredibly promising. What else is shaping the future approach?
Strategic partnerships are becoming really crucial. Collaborations between pharma companies, research labs, hospitals, and they're starting to leverage new tech, especially artificial intelligence, AI.
AI and drug development.
Well, AI can analyze vast amounts of data to help identify new drug targets, optimize treatment plans for individuals, maybe even predict how resistance might develop. It could lead to much more precise, personalized therapies, keeping drugs like clarithromycin relevant. And there's another trend, sustainability. The industry is increasingly focused on green chemistry.
Green chemistry, applying that to antibiotic production. What does that look like?
It means designing manufacturing processes to be less wasteful, use safer materials, be more energy efficient. For complex drugs like antibiotics, it's about finding cleaner ways to synthesize them, reducing the environmental footprint. It's becoming a bigger factor. And finally, looking ahead, clarithromycin's broad-spectrum activity and its known safety profile mean it's likely to remain important for, say, future pandemic preparedness.
Okay, so bringing this all together for you, our listeners, the clarithromycin market is clearly at a fascinating point. It's balancing really significant growth opportunities against some pretty formidable challenges, especially that specter of antibiotic resistance. It seems clear that innovation in the drug itself, how it's made, how it's delivered, plus strong global collaboration, those are absolutely key for its future.
Absolutely. The story of this one antibiotic really reflects the bigger picture in pharmaceuticals, doesn't it? That constant interplay between medical need, scientific progress, and market forces.
Which leads us to our final thought for you to ponder. With this ongoing battle against antibiotic resistance
Hmm.
and the urgent need for new strategies, how might these rapid advances in things like AI and targeted drug delivery actually reshape our whole approach to common infections? And what does that mean for the future role of workhorse antibiotics like clarithromycin in global health?